Welcome to Saturday Sanga from Buenos Aires. I just got here last night from Florianopolis. And today's going to be a big day because today is also a Ratha Yatra here. Yeah, it's interesting. Prabhupada's movement has, of course, spread Ratha Yatra all over the world. Not just all over the world, but all over the period of the year. Which the priests in Jagannath Puri do not like. They say, no, this you should not do, it's not proper. And we say, Hare Krishna. Okay, it may be not proper, but we do it. Because it's practical. Okay, welcome. And Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunnitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuddhapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatadine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evachan Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'm just checking about translation. Daitesha is there.
I don't have the camera, but I'm here.
Yes, that's good. But I'm wondering, I don't see the options for translate.
Well, I have just sent a message to Dharma Gupta to see if I can do it.
Yeah. I don't see the option here on the screen, so I hope
I don't see it either.
I hope it'll be sorted out. Is Dharma-gupta with us? That's the first question. And if not...
I am, Guru Maharaj. I'm just trying to add Nityesha Prabhu as a translator. But I can't, for some reason, I can't see him on the list of participants. Nityesha Prabhu, under which name are you logged in?
Oh, yeah, it's my wife's name. It's under my wife's name.
And that's why.
It might be Ruth.
That's why.
Oh, that's why. Oh, yeah. Ruth. Sorry.
Sorry. So sorry.
Yeah. So sorry, Baba.
Okay, we'll sort it out now. I apologize.
And I see Kavi Chandra. Are you translating in Polski language? Good. Okay.
Yes, I'm translating. But
okay, good. All right. Well, again, welcome to all of you. I see lots of bright faces. I see Gaurachandra. He is in Florianopolis, and he and his good wife Nandalila have hosted me this last week, and we couldn't meet last week because I was traveling to Florianopolis. Oh, look at this! We have even a Balaram Danga here. Wow. We have some on-site, some live audience. I hate that expression, live audience, because it makes it sound like those who are online are not alive, like they're not alive. It's not a very good thing. Anyway. Okay, so let us proceed as we usually do. We have a very nice song from Srila Narottama Thakura. And before we go to that song, which is śrī-rūpa-mañjarī, let's go to the song of, is it already 3 weeks ago? I think so. Just briefly, for review, we have the Puna Sabishta Lalasa, song number 1. Just to the translation. It's translated as a lalasa, in the sense of asking the question, kabe, when? When will that day be mine? Hari hari kabe, mor hoive sudin. When, in a secluded cottage on Govardhan Hill, at best of mountains, will I prepare a couch for Shri Radha and Krishna. O Lord Hari, when will that auspicious day be mine? So this is one of the songs describing service to the divine couple, very intimate service. And as I've said a few times, I think, I feel there's 2 things going on here. One is this longing for such service, and the other is kind of anticipating that, yes, this day is going to come. Not when will that day be mine? Probably never. No, it's more like when that day comes, it will be so nice. When will I take water from a jar? It says jar. That's a strange word. maybe from a pot, and wash the lotus feet of the divine couple. Charana doaibo. When will I then dry their lotus feet? Using my own hair as a towel. So, of course, he's anticipating himself in his siddha swarupa, so his form, Manjari, and Manjaris are female and they have long hair, and long hair might be used as a towel, although I don't think it would be a very good towel. I mean, hair is not exactly absorbent, is it? So, but of course, the mood is there that I'm doing everything for the Lord. When in the association of the gopis will I directly serve the lotus feet of the divine couple with my own hand? When, by seeing the lotus feet of the divine couple, will the hairs of my body stand erect because of the ecstasy within my heart? Duhuk kamaladiti kautuke heravo. Duhum anga pulaka antare. Yeah, pulaka is hair standing on end. When will I string garlands of mallika and malati flowers and place them on the necks of the divine couple? When will I fill a golden goblet with camphor? Golden goblet with camphor and sandalwood paste, and then anoint the transcendental forms of the divine couple with this mixture. And finally, when will I directly see the lotus faces of the divine couple? When will Narottama Das jubilate? Oh, we're getting a chorus of local dogs. They're having their kirtan. Oh, oh. I wonder what set them off. Wow. When will Narottama Das jubilantly hear Kundalata Devi's narration of the nectarian pastimes performed by the divine couple in the groves of Vrindavan? When will that day be? Yeah, so, and another point about this song and other songs is it kind of has a double sense. I think one or triple. One is hankering, longing for, one is anticipating, and one is describing how service to Krishna, Radha Krishna, in the form of their deities can be performed and in what mood it can be performed. So, in other words, although we usually understand deity worship in terms of vidhi, rules and regulations, vaidhi bhakti, it can also be appreciated as, or vaidhi sadhana bhakti, one can also appreciate it as an aspect of raga-nuga sadhana bhakti. The point being that raga-nuga is also sadhana. It's also practice. And this could be one sort of practice. where it's understood just like you're dressing the deity. So it's, if we understand, yes, the deity is Krishna himself, and we are doing the dressing, it's not that we're indirectly dressing the deity, but we're directly dressed. So in that way, it can be understood as a very intimate service. Okay, now we go to a song which you may know of or may know. This is called śrī-rūpa-mañjarī-pada se-more Sampada. That's the first line. And it's being designated Lalasa song number 1. Okay. So it's within the book collection of songs, Prarthana, which can mean simply prayer, Prarthana, expressing artha can mean intention. So Prarthana can mean prayer, intentional praying, something like that. So here we have a wonderful meditation on śrī-rūpa-mañjarī, the understanding being that Sri Rupa Goswami is none other than śrī-rūpa-mañjarī in his eternal form, his form as a manjari, directly serving the divine couple. So here Narottama is meditating on the eternal form of Rupa Goswami as Rupa-Manjari. Śrī-rūpa-mañjarī-pada se-more Sampada, se-more bhajana-pūjana, se-more prān, se-more a-dhana, se-more jivana. So this is, the first verse is quite simple, with the repetition se-more. This se means this or this very, and Mora is the possessive first person, singular, mine. This is, so se-more Sampada. This is my Sampada. This is my treasure, my wealth, Sampada. This is my bhajana-pūjana. This referring, of course, to the feet, or lotus feet of Rupa-Manjari. These feet are my prana dana. My dana can also mean treasure. Prana is life. And a-dhana means ornament, actually. A-dhana doesn't seem to be translated here. Se-more jivan. The life of my life. These feet are the life of my life. Se-more rasa-nidhi, se-more vāñchā-siddhi, se-more veder dharama. Dharma is adding a syllable to dharma. Se-vrata, se-tapa, se-more mantra-japa, se-more dharama-karama. Dharama-karama. So these feet are the ocean. The ocean are my ocean of rasa. Could say. He translates perfection of rasa. And they are vāñchā-siddhi. Perfection worthy of attainment. Vāñchā can mean and hope, as I understand, the perfection of my, or aspiration maybe. They're the perfection of my aspirations. And then they their dharma, they're the very law of the Vedic scriptures for me. He's translated. That's nice. In other words, take all the Vedic literature. What's the essence of them? The lotus feet of Rūpa-mādhurī-rāśi. And lotus feet in this context, we can always think that it's a way of saying service to the person that is referred to. Okay, then say vrata, say tapa, say more mantra-japa, say more dharama-karama. And he says in the translation, they, the lotus feet of Rupa-mādhurī, are the meaning of my fasts and penances. Vrata can mean more generally vow, but it typically involves fasting. Tapa, austerity, also typically involving fasting, but there's many ways of austerity. Mantra-japa, of course, Krishna says in the Gita that of yagyas, I am japa yagya. Yagyanam japa yagyosmi. And then the last one, dharama-karama. They are the basis of religion and activities of they're the basis of my way of life. And then next verse, anukul hobe vidhi se-pade hoibe siddhi nirakibo e-dui noyone śrī-rūpa-mañjarī-pada prān-a-kuvalaya-śaśi shoshi prapulita hobe niśi-dine. By the purifying process of favorable devotional service, anukula, of course, means favorable, one will attain perfection, siddhi. And with these two eyes, be able to see. E-dui noyane, these two eyes. So in these two eyes, E is like se, these, and nirakibo, I will see, niraksh, I think it's nirakibo, akshi. Yes, no, I'm not sure. Anyway, I will be able to see with these two eyes. Aksha means eye, but why near aksha, without eyes? Aksha can also mean senses in general. Okay, let's not speculate. His transcendental form is shining like moonlight in my heart. Prana-kuvalaya-śaśi. Shashi means the moon. Kuvalaya, I suppose, means shining. And prana means the life, can also mean heart. and Madhuri-rāśi. Rāśi, I think, means a lot, may mean raised, or it can mean a lot of something. Not sure. Okay, it gives a little purport. In other words, the ordinary moon lights up the night, and its shine illuminates other objects, but the moon of the effulgence of the form of śrī-rūpa-mañjarī shines into the heart and makes the heart also shine back to the spiritual sky. Oh, that's nice. This moon shines not only in the nighttime, but day and night. Niśi-dine. So nishi means in the night, and dine means in the day. Prabhupada shines, glows. And the last verse, to adarśana-ahi, gorale jaralo lehi, ciro-dina tapita jivan, ha-ha-rūpa-koronoya, te homore pada-chāyā, Narottama sharana. Your absence from my vision is like a dose of strong poison to adarśana-ahi. Ahi, I think, ahi is a snake, isn't it? Garale, jaralo, dehi, ciro-dina, long day, tapita jivan. The jivan, the life, tapita is burning, is suffering. Narottama says, please give me your mercy in the shade of your lotus feet. Rupa-koronoya, deha more, pada-chāyā, Narottama sharana. So sharana means shelter, refuge, shelter, and loilo, past tense, I took. Narottama says, I took shelter. I have taken shelter. Right. Shall we give it a try with our attempts at music? I have to change the setting here to musicians on. Yes, okay. Here we go. All right. Okay. śrī-rūpa-mañjarī-pada, se Mora, Sampada, śrī-rūpa-mañjarī-pada, se mora avarana, se mor jivane, se mor rasa-nidhi, se mora vāñchā-siddhi, se mora rasa-nidhi, se mora vāñchā-siddhi, se mor vedera dharama, se prarthana, se tapa, se mora mantra-japa, se mor dharama-karama, se mor dharama-karama, anukula ave vidhi, se-pade oive sikhi, mirakhibo edui nayane, prapulita ove niśi-dine, prapulita ave niśi-dine, prapulita adarśana-ahi, garale charalo dehi, tua adarśana-ahi, garale charalo dehi, ciro-dina tapita jivana, ciro-dina tapita jivana, rupa korodoya dehamore pada-chāyā. Ha rupa korodoya dehamore pada-chāyā. Narottama loilo sharana. Narottama loilo sharana.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Srila Narottama Das Thakura ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So as I was singing, I remembered the word kuvalaya, of course, means lotus flower. It's one of many words. So in the third line of the third verse, se-rūpa-mādhurī-rāśi, prāna-kuvalaya-śaśi. So the prana-kuvalaya, the lotus of my life, can I guess here mean heart, and the lotus heart, śaśi means moon, so the moon of the lotus of my heart. We know this word kuvalaya from a-kuvalaya-pada. A-kuvalaya-pada is the name of the elephant that Krishna dispatches. And his name, a-kuvalaya-pada, literally means one who crushes lotus flowers or torments. Pada can mean tormenting. Lotus flower tormentor. Yeah. Okay. So, again, to those of you who have joined a bit later, welcome. Nice to see you all. And now I'm curious. I see a face I'm not familiar with. Jaganmangala Hari has a friend, and he's laughing.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol for everyone.
Who is this?
Ivan.
Huh?
I'm Ivan. I'm a friend of Jagan.
Uh-huh.
And, Ivan. Yes.
Okay. Oh, and there's Susanna. Hare Krishna.
And we have also one guest at our house. Bhakti Ananda.
House?
Yeah, Fullest House. Bhakti Ananda Tirtha Swami is our guest today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Schöne Grüße an ihn von mir. Okay. Haribol. Yes, so now we have, first thing we have, I just got a note. Krishna Ragini, you want to share something with us?
Yes, Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Jai.
Yes, I would like to share something. I wrote a book which I conceived as an outreach and making a parallel between some European myths and concepts and Vedic concepts from Bhagavad Gita and stories from Srimad Bhagavatam. And the good news is that I submitted this book to Europe Books, the publishing house Europe Books, and it was accepted.
Oh,
I got the good news that it was accepted.
Wow.
And so I signed the contract, and the contract is, in my opinion, very favorable because they will, like in 4 months, the book will be printed, and after that they will make a very nice promotion for it.
Promotion, yeah.
It will be like 60,000 copies in Europe have it. 60,000. And also...
Say again, 60,000 what? Copies?
Bookshops.
Oh, wow.
In Europe, it will be distributed, yeah.
Wow.
And also it will be it will participate in the main book fairs in Europe, like London, Frankfurt, Rome, Madrid, also in New York. So the main book fair in New York, and there will also be an e-book. So,
what is the title of the book?
Collection of stories. Collection of stories by Iris Roxana Teodorescu. This is my name, my name.
Nice.
Yeah. And so I think it's very favorable, the contract. I signed it, and I'm just waiting to see how it will be.
No, that's the whole point of having a publisher, a good publisher, is to have good distribution. A good publisher is able to get the books out to people in various ways, and it sounds like, I'm not familiar with this publisher, but it sounds like they're very good. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
Speaking of books, very briefly from me, I like to share news about books. I received, this is volume 2 of Living the Wisdom of Bhakti, Life as a Spiritual Practice by His Grace Mahatma Prabhu. This is volume 2. I haven't seen volume 1, but when I was in Alachua, one of his disciples, a young lady, gave me this as a gift, and I've been reading it. It's nice. I always like Mahatma Prabhu's style, his way of doing things. He's super practical minded, practical practical and deep. And I was just reading in chapter 4. Chapter 4 is called Balancing Feelings of Unworthiness. And he's addressing the issue of, on the one side, it's understood, it's a good thing to feel unworthy of Krishna's blessings. Oh, I'm so fallen. Oh, I'm so unqualified, etc. That's a good thing, but it can go too far. And so he's speaking about balancing this. And I'll just read one short bit. He gives a couple of nice analogies. He's saying how Krishna actually cares about us, and there's evidence of this. And what is the evidence? Well, he has sent us Guru, he has sent us our entire Guru Parampara, he has sent us his teachings through them and through his literature. And then he says, this is just a fragment of the evidence that shows how much Krishna cares about every one of us. And then he says, there is nothing we can do aside from continued blasphemy of or willing disobedience to Krishna's pure devotees that would make us unworthy of Krishna's love. Still, even if we believe we are truly unworthy, this makes us even more qualified to receive his mercy. now he gives an example. He says, just as being poor, like financially poor, qualifies one to receive welfare from the government, at least some governments. Disqualification is the very cause of being worthy of the Lord's mercy. And then he gives another example, well, a sort of hypothetical. He says, if Mahaprabhu were selling love of Krishna for the price of qualification, he would have closed his shop long ago, having gone out of business for lack of customers. Krishna would have had to, or Lord Chaitanya would have had to close his shop, because who is qualified? So he keeps his shop open. Why? Because it's not, he's not selling for qualification. What does Bhaktivinoda Thakur say in this regard in one of his songs? He says the qualification is faith. In Nityananda Prabhu's Nama Hatta, the qualification for purchasing the holy name is faith. Faith, of course, is this mysterious, elusive substance that we are seeking as the beginning of our journey on in devotional life. Oops, we lost some of the audience. Service calls. They're helping with the rest. We still have live audience of Chinanivas, Kike, and Madhukuri. Yeah, so Bhaktivinoda Thakur says the qualification is faith. And the point I wanted to make is Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangota. It gives this list. Tato Bhajana Kriya, Tato Anartha Nivritti Syat, Tata Saktis, Tato Bhava, Tata Prema Bhutanchati. There's this progression from Shraddha to Prema, but of course this doesn't mean that it's not like a step ladder that you leave one rung and step to the next. And no, each one is built, there's an increase. So the Shraddha is deepening, it's getting more substantial as we progress up the path. Good. So, Rasa-nidhi Hari, you have your hand up.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, Hare Krishna.
Haribo.
Dandavat pranams. I have two things, if this is show and tell session. First one.
Oh, it's out.
Out.
Wow. Nice.
And it is, I will show a few pages. It's full color. Like this. And, many things inside. Oops.
Yeah.
And
very good.
we would like to thank you, Guru Maharaj, for inspiring everyone. This book, and also to all the participants here, and to Kaveri Mataji and Mitra Balaram for financing the book. And it's just fresh one from yesterday out. So I will send around Europe, I guess, on Monday, like that. We'll see.
Very good, very good. Thank you so much. My thanks to you for organizing this, and our thanks to Gopi Gita Mataji in Singachalam for the design of the book. That was a bit of an action.
And the second thing,
to everyone who contributed, who wrote for the book.
Yeah, it's a little bit heavy in a sense that the paper inside is for the color, and it's different. And the second thing is that finally we have all your books on Amazon Kindle, including this one.
Oh.
But it's of course black and white because I couldn't deal with colors, and the Kindle and even Ram's Maranam, because that was the toughest book, because I had to type practically. We didn't have a font. I have to type all the critics and things like that.
Oh.
So all the books are now up. Took some time, but anyway, to read marathon. But now they are all fine, and it's also on the website from today. On your website, devotees can have all links are there and like that. And
on the website. Does it give information how to get the books? Because
yes, everything.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you for that. I think this Govardhan book might inspire more such books by other devotees.
Yeah.
When they see this, go, oh, yes, we should also do like this.
And regarding other books, the Madhavananda Prabhu from Odisha, he wrote forward for your next book, Voyaging through the Bhagavatam, second part. And
good.
Books should be ready for you to examine and change whatever is needed next week.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Nice. Okay, so now I think it's time for, if she's here, Raja Mohini, are you here? You were here.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Yes, I'm here.
Yes. So, you've been having a question in your mind for several weeks now.
Oh, yes. Some weeks ago, I asked the question.
Shall we take a try at responding?
If you would like, Guru Maharaj.
Why not? Let's try. Do you want to say what is your question?
Yes. I can tell my question. Just 1 second. I will find the original excerpt in a second.
Oh. Just now coming. Meanwhile, we have a very nice sunny day here in Buenos Aires. I think it's going to be perfect Ratha Yatra weather. Not too hot, not cold. I think it's going to be nice. Yeah, I was going to say about Ratha Yatra at different times of year in Hong Kong. They always have Ratha Yatra on Christmas Eve. Because that's when so many people are out on the streets. They're just sort of wandering around, and they block off the streets, certain streets from traffic, streets which are right around where the temple is. So it's convenient. And the devotees told me, now when you're there on Rath Yatra, there'll be many Christian groups singing Christmas carols. And but devotees told me that when they were first doing Rath Yatra, you didn't see any of these groups. So it seems that it's from Krishna Jagannath Rath Yatra that they became inspired to sing Christmas carols, which is nice. But they seem to, some of them have a kind of competitive spirit. So when the devotees go by with the Rath cart, they turn up the volume of their, amplifiers of their singing carols. Whatever. Okay, did you find it?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, I found it.
All right.
My question was regarding one thing that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has written about in his book Amrita Vani. This is a selection of, I think, excerpts from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's teachings, but arranged in a question and answer kind of way. And there's a section about chanting the holy name. And the question is, what is the gravest offense in chanting the holy names? And the answer he has given is that to consider the spiritual master an ordinary human being is the gravest, most deadly offense one can commit when chanting the holy name. If we consider the spiritual master a mortal being, we will never profit from our practices. Rather, various obstacles and problems will surface and drown us in an ocean of material desire. No one other than the spiritual master is capable of protecting us from bad association. Because the living entities consider the spiritual master an ordinary human being, they are unable to surrender to his lotus feet. So my question was that I remember reading from also Srila Prabhupada many times that one shouldn't consider spiritual master an ordinary human being, and he is in a way the same as the Lord himself. But the first question is, why is this the most deadly offense? And second, what does it really mean for us to consider the spiritual master not mortal?
Good. Okay. Why is this the most deadly offense? Well, I would say first, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur wants to emphasize the connection between the Guru and the mantra that we receive. This is the sort of a basic idea in our tradition and more broadly in Indian religious traditions, that it's as we chant a mantra, we want to remember how we receive the mantra. In other words, it's not that we receive a mantra and say, okay, thank you very much, I'm out of here, I'm gone, I have my mantra now. But rather, we're always receiving the mantra. It's a kind of, like the rays of the sun, they're constantly coming from the sun, illuminating everything. So in a similar sort of way, we're constantly receiving the mantra, in this case, the Maha Mantra, from the Guru, who of course is receiving it through the Guru Parampara. And Srila Prabhupada, I always like to say, he said in one case that anyone who is chanting The Maha Mantra should be understood to have received, I think he puts it like this, to have received the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And maybe it's over interpretation, but in some sense, it's almost like he's saying he has received initiation from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I know that sounds terribly Ritvik, but there is somehow that sense. Now, what means ordinary and what means not ordinary and all of that? Of course, that's a big topic, and sometimes it's said that there's two sorts of tattva which are most mysterious or most difficult to comprehend. One is Shiva tattva, and the other is Guru tattva. We might wonder about that, why Shiva tattva is difficult, but that's another topic. Why is Guru tattva difficult to understand? One reason could be that there is this kind of dual aspect. The Guru is understood to be, in a certain sense, non-different from the Lord. And we have that idea in the first half of the 7th verse of the Gurvastakam prayer, right? Sakshat haritvena samasta shastraya uktastata bhavyate bhavyata eva sadvihi. So Sakshat Haritva. Haritva is the abstract form of Hari. So it's like Hari is a very generic name for God. You could almost say it's Sanskrit, a kind of literal. It's maybe as close as you get to the term God in Sanskrit, which is, however, also a name, whereas God in English it's a title. It doesn't really have the sense of being a name. So it's a kind of general name. And Haritva, that TVA at the end, makes it abstract. So it's Hariness, which you could translate simply as divinity. And here again, we easily can stumble, I think, on our Western, especially Abrahamic, Jewish, Christian, Islamic notions of God, where there is this profound chasm. There's a profound gap between us and God. And in Indian, generally in Indian, broadly speaking, religious notion, it's much more like a continuum. There's not this total break between us and God. There's a kind of continuum. And so when it says Sakshat Haritva, direct divinity, it certainly doesn't mean having all of the full powers of the Supreme Lord, because that's not something that a jiva can ever have. But there's a sense of emphasizing specialness. There's something special about the Guru. That's the understanding. Extraordinary, more than ordinary. Sakshat Haritvena samasta shastraya. And this the point is emphasized by saying all of the shastras are saying this, and all of the sages are saying it. Sakshat Haritvena samasta shastraya uktaha, it is stated. Tata, similarly, bhavyata eva shadvi, by the sadhus, by the saints. But then the third line reminds us, kintu, however, prabho yaha priya eva tasya. That same person who is Sakshat Harita is dear to the Lord. Prabho means of the Lord, to the Lord. In other words, dear to the Lord means not the Lord. It's different from the Lord. But that's, of course, another reason to appreciate the Guru as being not ordinary, but being extraordinary. Why is the Guru extraordinary? Because the Guru is dear to the Lord. Does that make sense so far? Looks like you're taking.
Yes, I'm taking notes.
There's this very nice book, kind of scholarly book, but still very nice, by Brigupada Prabhu, Mons Guru, called As Good as God. And then there's a subtitle it's about the Guru in the Gaudiya tradition. It was his doctoral dissertation, and he did research interviewing, I think he said around 40 Gaudiya Vaishnava gurus, including several Gaudiya Vaishnava gurus in different Gaudiya mats. And also there's not only Gaudiya Mat and ISKCON, there's Gaudiya Vaishnavas in other branches as well. So he interviewed them to, you could say, unpack what it means being guru in the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition. And I remember I won't remember all of them, but he came up with 6 or 7 roles which a Gaudiya Vaishnava performs or enacts. And one of them is the Guru acts as a parent, as a father or as a mother, we can say. So having a relation with followers, with disciples, of being like a parent. Parents are caring for their children, concerned that they're cared for, that they're protected, that they have facility for growing, for maturing, and so on. And another role, I found this interesting. He says one of the roles of the Guru is to be like a feudal lord. You know, what is a feudal lord? In the Middle Ages in Europe, there was the feudal system of government. So there would be a lord, and there would be his serfs and his those who were under him and were committed, lifetime, they were committed to serving him. Then a third role of the guru is simply teacher. And here we may appreciate that in India it's very common that one will regard one's teacher of a particular art or skill as guru. So a music teacher is one's music guru. Or, I don't know, yes, astrology teacher or Ayurvedic medicine teacher will be a kind of guru. Sometimes, though, a distinction is made between such gurus and Satguru. One will recognize the guru who is teaching spiritual knowledge as Satguru. And that is understood to be a kind of higher status. He also has two categories, I remember. One is preserver of tradition. And then the opposite of that is, I don't think he uses innovator, but one who innovates in order to spread the mission. And then he gave, I think, one or two other roles. What occurred to me also in the case of Srila Prabhupada, maybe we have a possible additional role, and that is entrepreneur. Srila Prabhupada was a kind of spiritual entrepreneur. You know the word entrepreneur? Yeah. So, he was striking out on his own, bringing the mission to first America and then around the world. And related to that, but also maybe related to, kind of different from the feudal lord idea, is that he took a role in some sense as a corporate executive officer, CEO. Yeah, he established the GBC, and he was thinking in terms of a worldwide, what's the word I want? When you have a company and they have many branches of the same thing.
Corporation?
Well, a corporation, but different. Each branch is a franchise. Yeah, that's it. So he was thinking like that. Each temple was a franchise, and the franchise had certain standards. Everything was standardized in a way which I think was kind of a new thing, really. Now, how does that relate with your question? The broader point is that the guru has different roles, and so when Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur says the worst thing you could do is think of the guru as an ordinary person, it's a kind of, it's a delicate thing, because the guru is also a person, and the guru, we don't want to make the guru into something that's not a person. One time Srila Prabhupada said, liberated, to be liberated does not mean to have 4 hands and 8 legs. It was kind of joking, I think. And just a few days ago, as I think many of you know, I was in Gainesville, Florida, where we had this conference about Vedic cosmology, especially of the Bhagavatam. I gave a presentation, and this was toward the end of meetings that Bhaktivedanta Institute for Higher Studies were having amongst themselves. Over a 3-week period, they were meeting on the topic of the Vedic cosmology in relation to the museum, which is being planned for the temple of the Vedic planetarium. They were having these meetings because just days ago, or weeks ago, they received, you can say, the full blessings before the management of this museum was in other devotees' hands. And it was, issues were coming up, let's say. And by, I think, devotees in Gainesville like to feel this is Krishna's arrangement, that now the whole project of the museum is now in the hands of this group, of these devotees, and they're very happy and inspired. And I'm also inspired. I think it's going to lead to some very nice results. Now, the point is that while I was there in Gainesville, Brahmatirtha invited me, you come sit in on our meetings. Well, I just sat in on part of a couple of the meetings because I was doing other things. But I sat in on one meeting, which was very interesting indeed, because they invited one devotee, whom some of you may know and some of you may not. He was one of the leaders of our movement in earlier years, and then he had a change of ashram, but he lives in Gainesville, Krishna Swami, former Swami, who now prefers to be known as Hari. But he was invited to come and share his memories of his exchanges that he had with Srila Prabhupada on the subject of the 5th canto, because he had a lot of conversations with him on that subject, because he was serving him, he was his personal servant, during the time when Prabhupada was translating the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And the point that, one point he was making, which very much struck me, was Prabhupada was not, he was not, we say in English, pontificating. To pontificate is to speak like a pope, giving the final absolute word. What I say is law. He wasn't like that at all. He was speaking like any devotee, trying to understand what all this means in the 5th canto. And they were having very open conversations, and he was saying it was like they were like on equal terms of speaking. Well, we could understand like this. What about this? What about And he made the point that if Prabhupada were with us today, it would be very easy for him to imagine Prabhupada sitting in on the meeting that the devotees were then having on this subject of how to understand some of these things that are said in the Bhagavatam. In other words, he would have been not positioning himself as, I have figured it all out. Not at all. He would have been expressing himself as another devotee trying to understand. So this, I think, brings us back to the point. Not ordinary, extraordinary, yes, but not inaccessible, not four hands and 8 legs, you know. Does that make sense?
Yes, Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for the wonderful and detailed answer. This was perfect for me. And actually, in somewhere else in Amritavani, I came across a passage today where Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was talking about the idea that if we attempt to merge Guru completely with the absolute truth and make him devoid of personality, then this is another huge offense.
Yeah, that becomes another kind of impersonalism.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's a bigger topic, of course. There is a nice book by His Holiness Shivaram Swami, a compilation, which I don't know for sure. I think it's still available, like from Bhaktivedanta Library Services, about the Shiksha Guru. He's compiling from Srila Prabhupada's books, and I guess his speaking, his letters, everything. A quite thorough study on the subject of Shiksha Guru, which I think deserves more attention than it gets, because there's a bit of a cultural imbalance, perhaps, in our society, where lots of deference is given to the Diksha Guru at the cost of, we can say, Shiksha Guru or Shiksha Gurus. So that's something you may want to also look at.
Thank you very much. Actually, when I was in Krishna Valley, the head Pujari, Ashtasaki Mataji, told me to read this book, and I found a copy online, but I hadn't read it yet. Now, with also your suggestion, I have to read it.
Okay, good.
And thank you also sharing about the book that Birgupada Prabhu has written. This sounds amazingly interesting to me. He has interviews with 40 different gurus about what it means to be guru in Gaudiya Vaishnava.
Yeah. Yes. That book may also be available, I'm not sure. That was published actually by his university, I think, the University of, was it Stockholm? I guess. Yeah. All right, good.
Thank you very, very much for your
Jai. Sita Sundari, you've written a note here, and it reminded me, I think you wanted to speak something some weeks ago. Are you there? Yes, you're there.
Hi, boy. Hi, Krishna. Yes, can I have some more time, please, before I do that?
You're fine.
Yes, I have to prepare a little more.
Wow, I guess it's going to be quite some presentation. Okay. Anyway, thank you for your note.
Thank you.
Good. Right, we have a little time now for some Shastra, and truth be told, I don't have a specific plan. What we can do, actually, this is what we'll do. I'm going to share with you, I'm not going to share the screen. I'm working now that I finished that presentation on hermeneutics for that conference in Gainesville. Now I have another presentation that I've promised to prepare for. We still don't know when this is going to happen, but there's idea that we have a kind of academic conference on Srila Prabhupada and all things related with Srila Prabhupada. There was recently a conference in Stockholm at the university, which was sort of commemorating 50 years since Prabhupada visited there. So that conference happens, but there's a plan to do something in Oxford, possibly later this next year. And they've asked me to, if I want to present something, so I'm going to try, but I must admit I'm a little bit struggling to figure out how I'm going to do this. I've done some research and I'm doing some note-taking and so on. My title is, and I'm quoting here, Equiposed in Success and Failure, unquote. Prabhupada's Spiritual Perfectionism in a World of Imperfection. And what I'm trying to do is sort of examine two words that Prabhupada used a lot. He used the word success a lot. I counted more than 5,000 times. Success, successful, successfully. He doesn't use the word fail or failure quite so much. It's more like, I don't know, 2,000 times maybe, but that's there. So there's this, we say there's this binary, there's this polarity of success and failure. And on the one side, we have from Shastra, from Bhagavad Gita, that the devotee, the yogi, one of the characteristics of yoga practice is becoming equiposed in success and failure. And we understand that is very important in our culture of spiritual life. We undertake so many activities and we aim for success, but we try to understand that if there's not success, that's also okay. But I sort of want to examine this more closely from different angles. I don't know if I read this abstract before, but maybe I can do that now. Maybe I should share the screen for this because it will be hard to translate otherwise. So let's see. Share screen. And Almost there. Okay. Now, I have to say before I read this, I may or may not, I may be changing this by the end of writing. Okay. First, I start with a quote. Given the extreme difficulty, if not impossibility, of spiritual life, failure is at the very heart of what it means to be a devotee. Unquote. Who says that? So wrote anthropologist John Fahey after doing extensive interviewing of ISKCON Mayapur residents to understand the moral system they inhabit. He spent 1 year in Mayapur. I met him. Very nice fellow, young scholar from Cambridge, studying at Cambridge. He also interviewed me. I don't know if he was thinking of it as an interview or just a conversation. Anyway. Okay, continuing. Given the high valuation Srila Prabhupada placed on success with respect to his own personal devotional career and to his mission, and his persistent promise of success and attainment of perfection to his followers, we may ask whether or how Fahey's location of failure, quote, at the very heart of what it means to be a devotee, whether it helps or obscures understanding of Prabhupada's approach to success and failure in the pursuit of spiritual life. In this presentation, I survey the various contexts in which Prabhupada speaks or writes of success and failure in order to map out some features of the moral terrain, the area which is in which more moral dimension is important. Features of the moral terrain traversed by his followers in their efforts to successfully enact a balance between, and this is a part I don't know if I develop or not, to use Robert Wuthno's phrases, the spirituality of seeking and the spirituality of dwelling. Such mapping may serve to gain perspective on how the tensions that arise in the polarity of success and failure may be mitigated, softened, for the sake of individual and collective spiritual health in Vaishnava communities. Did that make any sense? It's a little bit convoluted. So I'm trying to work on this, and of course, I'm drawing on statements from Srila Prabhupada where he uses the word success. Let's see, maybe I'll go to, can I do this? No. Okay, let me go back. 1 second. Charting success. Okay, then I started making a little chart here. And this may or may not make any sense. Okay, so this one sociologist named Robert Wuthnow, I don't know how he pronounces his name, Wuthnow, probably Polish, has written a book, I think it's called After Heaven, with a subtitle, and he identifies, he's trying to sort of analyze how the religious landscape in America is changing. His book is a little bit dated. It's from sometime in the 1990s. But he wants to say that there's a lot of change going on, and that one way to understand this change is in terms of two things he calls the spirituality of dwelling and the spirituality of seeking, where dwelling means people are affiliated with and involved with a church, usually a church. Much of USA is Christian. So they're involved in some community, and it's all very kind of fixed and settled, and so it's like a dwelling. But he's saying, no, things are changing now. People are seeking. People are looking. They're not satisfied to stay within the confines of their particular church or synagogue or mosque. They become seekers. And I had a professor in Santa Barbara who wrote a book. He was also a sociologist of religion. He wrote a book called A Nation of Seekers. So the whole country is seeking, looking for spiritual life. But this Robert Whatnow is saying this is not telling the whole picture. There's a third dimension to all of this, which is important, and that is the spirituality of practice. And this is where I think we can find a connection with our culture of Krishna consciousness. And what I've found is that in the most cases where Prabhupada is speaking about success, they seemed most easily to me to fall into this category of practice. In other words, sadhana bhakti, what we call sadhana bhakti, and pursuing success in the practice of sadhana bhakti. So, for example, in his preface to the Bhagavad Gita, I believe it's in the preface, I should have noted this, says one will derive the greatest benefit by studying the Bhagavad Gita as it is. And this is coming at the conclusion of, I think, his preface, where he's saying, if one studies Bhagavad Gita as it is, I will consider my attempt a success. In other words, he's writing his translation of the Bhagavad Gita, and he says, if people will study it, then I will consider my effort a success. So on the one side, it's Prabhupada's practice, his translating is a kind of practice, and then studying, if someone, after it's printed, studies that Bhagavad Gita as it is, then he says, my effort is a success. And then in the Bhagavad Gita itself, and this is, we might want to say, of course we can say Krishna himself speaking, but we may want to think about how it's translated. In chapter 2, verse 48, what does Krishna say? Anyone have it memorized? Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhi asiddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchate siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva. So Prabhupada is translating the word siddhi as success. And of course, asiddhi, he's translating as failure. Sama bhutva, having become samaha, having become equiposed or equal in success and failure. Samatvam, that equalness, yoga uchate, is said to be yoga. That's yoga. You want to know what is yoga? Yoga is, this is a kind of definition. Sangam tyaktva dhananjaya, having given up. It says sangam, which could mean any association, but I think the acharyas all specify unhealthy association. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga. That is, yoga is said to be this equanimity in success or failure. But part of what I want to do in this article I'm going to write, I think I will have to raise the question about the choice of words for translation. It's kind of built into us. We think of siddhi as perfection, and it's not wrong. The only thing is it has the word success in English has certain connotations, which may or may not be there in the word siddhi. That's something I need to explore. Many times, Srila Prabhupada speaks of what he calls the secret of success. And he uses this phrase in different ways. Usually he uses it in relation to having faith in the Guru. And he will several times quote, Yasya Devi Parabhaktir Tata Devi Tata Guru Tasyaite Katita Hyarta Prakashante Mahatmana, the last verse of the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. As one has faith in the Lord, Deva, which scholars say, by the way, is Shiva, not Vishnu, in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. The Vaishnavas appropriate the Shvetashvatara because it refers to Ishvara. It doesn't, it can be taken, why not, as referring to Vishnu. But Prabhupada usually, many times, says the secret of success is in following strictly the order and the instructions of the Guru. But we can look at this, chapter 2, verse 62, purport. Let's see if I can find it quickly enough. I have to go here, and then here, and then library, and then Bhagavad Gita. It's kind of cool how one can find Prabhupada's books quickly on vedabase.io. Verse 62. Yes, Jayato Vishayan Pungsa, Sangas Teshva Jayate, Sangat Sanjayate, Kama Kama Krodha, Krodha, Krodho, Abhijayate, while contemplating. Wait, let me get back. sharing. I'm actually getting a little bit able to do this. While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment lust develops, and from lust anger arises. Okay, now toward the end of the purport, Prabhupada says, as illustrated, he gives the example of, first he gives the example of Lord Shiva as an example, you could say, of failure. When Parvati agitated him for sense pleasure, he agreed to the proposal, and as a result, Kartikeya was born. When Haridas Thakur was a young devotee of the Lord, he was similarly allured by the incarnation of Maya Devi, but Haridas easily passed the test because of his unalloyed devotion to Lord Krishna. As illustrated in the above-mentioned verse of Śrī-Yamunacharya, I guess that's in a previous purport, a sincere devotee of the Lord shuns all material sense enjoyment due to his higher taste for spiritual enjoyment in the association of the Lord. That is the secret of success. Okay, so here it's not about following the order of Guru, it's about having the higher taste. So this is another of the secrets of success that Prabhupada speaks of. One who is not, therefore, in Krishna consciousness, however powerful he may be in controlling the senses by artificial repression, is sure ultimately to fail, for the slightest thought of sense pleasure will agitate him to gratify his senses. So this would be an example of the two extremes. There's a possibility of success, and there's the danger of failure. And of course, elsewhere, Prabhupada will speak about how to understand failure, what to do. Failure is not final. It's sometimes in English we say the pillar of success. Why is it the pillar of success? That is another discussion. Now, at this point, I thought to make a little experiment. Let's see if this is going to work. Maybe I should do it. I'm receiving these 1-minute excerpts from Prabhupada's lectures. And I thought we could play one. You can, if you're not aware of these, you can sign up to these from what is it called? Vanipedia group. They have this every day. They send out a link. Let's see what happens now.
It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, Pita Asad Janani Nasasya, Guru Nasasya.
Okay, the audio there is not good, and therefore you can read it as we go along. 1 second. Where is it? Oh, here it is. And
this way, the conclusion is Namo Chayavya Samokirtamattam if one is unable to rescue his disciple from the imminent danger of death, he should not become a guru. One should not become father or mother if he cannot do so. In this way, no friend, no relatives, no father, no. If one cannot teach his other part how to save from the clutches of death.
So, how to save one from the clutches of death? Prabhupada would often use that expression, the clutches of clutch. The image is of a raptor bird, like an eagle or a falcon. They grab their prey in their clutches, in their talons, and then take away. So we are all in the clutches of death. I was just in Florianopolis. Yeah, I was in Florianopolis, staying with Gaurachandra and Ananda Lila. They have a very nice house right next to a nice stream, water flowing from the mountain, and there's a huge mango tree and many other trees, and they have these little monkeys. They're like squirrels, but they're actually monkeys living in that area in the trees, and they feed them bananas. But they mentioned that these monkeys have to be careful because there are predator birds that may come down and grab. And so they have these little monkeys. They have different sounds, and when they know, they're watching, and they'll see there's such a bird. They'll make a certain sound to warn the others. Danger at every step. Anyway, Prabhupada is here. He's referring to the verse Guru na sasyat, svajano na sasyat, pita na sasyat, janani na sasyat. Daivan na tatsyan na patischa sasyan, na mochaya ya samupeta mrityu. One should not become a guru or a father or a mother or a teacher if one is not able to deliver one from the clutches of death. Na mochaya ya samupeta mrityu. So he's speaking that. So this relates back to the subject of guru. Guru has to be qualified, and the qualification has to be actually delivering the message of Krishna. Right. That kind of brings us to our time for saying Gaur Premanande Haribol. Thank you all for joining us, and I wish you a wonderful day. If you're anywhere near Buenos Aires, come join us on Radha. And the suggestion was made to join in the pulling of the Rath cart by having a thread on your altar. I didn't fully understand, but I suppose you could you could sort of be meditating that you're pulling the Rath cart in some way. Yes. Okay, so Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatume. May we all be within the line of sight of Lord Jagannath. And thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj. Bienvenido.
Haribol, Haribol.
Bienvenido.